Hi, I'm Derrick Hoh, and I'm a singer-songwriter, but nowadays refer myself as a dad of one, one daughter, beautiful daughter.
I'm Cindy, 43, and a mother of 2 beautiful daughters.
I'm quite nervous today
What?
because
What?
you're the one interviewing me. Gonna ask me questions.
Bringing back the memories.
And anything I answer, if I give like dishonest ones, you will call me out immediately. No, that's not the case.
No, but I have very bad memories, so I might not know.
Then I'm safe.
Remember. Yeah, so when you were very young, when you started this whole journey, what was your expectation?
I think when I first started, I didn't expect myself to be in the competition in the first place. Because I was busy holding a school recital concert in school actually, and I missed every single audition dates for Project Superstar. I missed 2, and then they opened up another one due to overwhelming response, and they held it next to my school. And I remember myself being a last-minute decision. I remember myself forging mom's signature.
Huh, I don't know.
First thing that I thought of was to call mom, and then to tell her about it. So I told her about it, and she said, okay, fine. Then I got through later on.
Yeah.
Of course, there were different stages, and nobody would expect that the competition blew up the way it did. And as someone who doesn't know anything about the industry, it was actually pretty overwhelming for me. Everywhere we went, there were huge mobs during that time, during the competition. And although that made, I don't know about the other contestants, but it definitely made me feel, wow, like this is how it feels like to be
A celebrity.
Celebrity, but more like a singer. Back then I was like, this is it. I couldn't get closer to my dream than this. And then it blew up, of course.
Yep.
I got eliminated at some point.
Yep.
Didn't went on to become the champion. And then eventually I got signed. I remember I need to enlist into the army immediately.
Yeah, correct.
So I received a call from my manager in MediaCorp because all of us were signed to MediaCorp.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice.
For 2 years.
For 2 years. And I received a message telling me that Warner Music, I think Play Music wants to sign me as an artist. And I was like, I was so happy that I woke every single one of my bunkmates up just to tell them about it. And then they were so happy about it as well. Then it was just, after that it was downhill all the way because I had to serve for 2 years. I couldn't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can do is to anticipate and eventually release my first album in 2008. Yeah. I was actually quite surprised that after 2 years when I released my single, my album, the response was again huge until I got the news that I need to go Taiwan.
Yes.
And I was really excited about it. Then it kind of hit me because I had it easy in Singapore.
Because everyone knows you.
Yeah, since 2005, because everyone knows me, they know about the competition, they know that I came from this one. But when I went to Taiwan, I'm a fresh artist there, no one knows about me.
Yeah.
And then I was busking on the streets and stuff.
Is that a part of the strategy?
That was definitely
Music
their
production,
strategy because they don't know what to do with me.
Okay.
How do you launch an artist who have no prior history in this
Taiwan.
particular territory, right?
Okay.
The fun part was I will be doing autograph sessions and promo sessions in Singapore.
Yes.
So one day there will be huge crowds that I will be performing to. And then the next flight back to Taipei, I'll be just busking on the streets.
So then the contrast in your, I think in terms of popularity, does it have any impact on the way you see the industry, the way you see your career?
Yeah, definitely. I think, and everyone there, every single artist, they were extremely ambitious.
Okay.
And it's really nothing like here in Singapore, where everyone is, friends of each other.
Yeah.
But over there, it's much more competitive. Like when you go on a certain variety show
Yeah.
with a few other artists, everyone wants to stand out.
Yes.
And they will do anything in their power to stand out. And some of them are natural, But as an introvert, it was really difficult
Are
for
you
me.
introvert, me?
Extremely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you think that I'm extrovert, that means I'm doing my job very well. Yeah. Basically, when I'm in those shows, I'm always that particular newcomer that don't talk a lot
Yes.
in the show. And as a result, after a few tries, producers will not be too interested to get me on
The
their show again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that was a huge struggle for me.
You face all these kind of problems, right? I mean, of course, you don't talk to us, but anyway, even you talk to us, probably we also don't understand.
I guess.
Yeah. So.
But it's not in our family to
Yeah.
just share,
All these-
our troubles
true
to each other.
We only share the good things lah.
Yeah, like in our family, we just try to avoid worrying each other.
Yeah.
That's a thing in our family, which is why Daddy and Mommy got a shock when they came to Taiwan in my early days and saw my living conditions. Yeah, they were like, "What? You're living in such a place?" Yeah, because I don't tell them about it.
Yeah, I guess so.
I remember myself being so desperate, being so lonely, right?
Yeah.
No one to talk to, that I will. There's this function on MSN where you shake
Nudge.
that person's window, be nudging people and see who replies. Because there's no one I can really talk to. But
I
then,
think comms at that time is still not that advanced now.
definitely,
I think now at least you can still
there
FaceTime.
there was this once, right? I miss home so much. I was in a campus performing, going up on stage. But then I felt so, I think it was after my performance on stage. And then we were waiting for our turn to leave, logistics, whatever. I actually called Mom.
No? Oh.
Yeah, she picked up, and then I was like, just keeping cool. But then actually I was tearing. Yeah. I was,
She cannot feel it.
No, I don't think so. I was like,
No, I think you underestimated
oh, really?
mothers. Yeah.
But,
I think probably she feels it, but she didn't.
But I guess it's normal in our family. Right? We don't really talk
Yeah,
about
but
things
anyway,
like that.
mothers do have that kind of very strong sixth sense.
Yeah, but I really just wanted to hear,
Yeah.
A familiar voice.
Familiar voice. Lah.
so I called her, and then, yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah, oh yeah, sure, okay, bye. Yeah, that happened. It's crazy because I went there to become a singer,
Yes.
but I find myself talking more than I was singing because
Okay. Because of
I
the
have to go to variety shows to promote my album.
Yes.
Then I'll sit down and then I will wait for my turn to be queued. Someone will cue me and I will take out my album. And this is my album. Please support. Sometimes I don't even have a chance to sing anything from the
album.
And then 2 hours of recording and just 1 minute of me showing that thing, and that's it. So I was doing that more than I was performing. So it started to become like, what am I doing this for? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because I want to perform, I want to be a singer. I'm not here to be telling people about my album, but then I understand it's still my job.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
It's part of the
getting people
job.
to know you
Yeah.
first before you perform.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So at that point, I think I enjoyed myself more when I was busking on the streets in Taipei than being on TV shows.
I think at that time it's still very TV oriented.
Yeah, rolling back to the time when I called Mom that one time, I have to consider the cost of calling as well.
Yeah.
Because I was so poor. Yeah, and it's definitely very different nowadays. Because back then, communication comes with a cost. But nowadays I can just
Yeah.
probably do, I can even do like video call,
FaceTime.
FaceTime, whatever. If you have no one to talk to, you can
Just
rent
text,
it on
yeah.
the internet or whatnot.
You remember there was a time when you were back in Singapore and then all of a sudden you just like withdraw yourself from the social media
Yeah.
and delete all the stuff that you have posted previously.
Yeah.
So what actually triggered you to do that?
I guess the trigger point was when I started to evaluate what I've done so far, and I was going down a rabbit hole, and I realized that I remember myself leaving one particular video on Facebook saying that, look, this is the video that got me the most eyeballs throughout my entire career.
Okay.
And it was me dancing to PPAP.
I have a pen, I have an apple, apple pen.
TikTok wasn't a thing
I
back
have a
then,
pen.
Yeah.
but I was doing TikTok stuff already. And that got me
wow.
the most views. But I've been working hard on
your
my music and
yeah.
everything, and it just doesn't tally, you know, like all that effort and couldn't get more people to know about my music. You know, it's always restricted to a particular territory, and it has to come with a lot of promoting
Yep.
and doing all these things, you know, like sitting in on a variety show and promoting the album. So many things just to get the word out there, but nothing beats just lip syncing to a viral song. But that doesn't really do me any good as well. So back then I was like, this relationship between me and social media just isn't working. Like
Okay.
something is wrong. It's like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah. Okay.
Just don't make sense. I want to start over again. And on top of that, there were a lot of pent up anger in me. Because of that, I decided to delete everything and then really ran about the state of social media. Then the next day, a lot of reporters came
Okay. They
who want to
asked,
talk
and
about
then-
it, and then I turned all of them down.
Okay.
There were a few closer ones whom I told that, you know, when I'm ready, I'll give you the exclusive. Let's talk about it. But to be honest, I didn't regret doing it at all.
Yeah.
To be very, very frank and honest. And it was kind of cathartic, in fact, like to be able to just
Let it go.
and let go actually. I wouldn't say let it out. It's really just
Yeah,
letting
just let
go
go.
of
Yeah.
a few years of curated content, and it was good riddance, to be frank. After I deleted everything, I can start over
Yeah. Start afresh
again.
lah.
And then I decided to also put out a statement and say, yeah, I can finally do something that I really want, things that I really want to do. And from then on, I re-established myself. I re-established my relationship with social media.
Yes.
So nowadays, like, I will post things that I really want to post, things that
Yeah.
I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Okay.
Even things that don't really make sense to people, but then I just love it, so I just want to tell people about it. Like my current midlife crisis of playing video games, retro video games.
Okay.
And with brands, you know, it's always a real life tie-in. Like, gotta make sense. Yeah. It's always me digesting what they want to say, and then me telling people about what they want to tell people, but through my
From
own
your perspective.
from my perspective, through my own experience after using it. Yeah, and it gets more, it's more authentic in a way, but at the same time, it keeps me sane as well.
So, I mean, during your concert, you also released a new song.
Yeah, new single.
Yeah, about your mental health and stuff. I guess that's your a resolution lah, that you want to sum it all up and moving more positive way forward. So, is that always the approach that you take? Like, you will always write songs about your own journeys?
Yeah, actually, yes. Unknowingly, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. there was this time where I was going through, that time we were just talking about it, where I locked myself up
Yeah.
in my apartment and don't go out, and,
Yeah.
and I actually wrote a song about that as well.
Oh.
And it was 晴天.
Oh, yes. Oh,
And
okay. Yeah.
晴天 is a very happy, positive song. And I realized that I have this thing with me is, when I'm going through sad stuff, I usually write a happy song out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And even for 当我知道你们相爱, it was about breakup. But then I still have to add a final line and say 我会不停地等待着未来. At the end of the song, just to acknowledge the fact that, okay, I saw you with another person now,
Yeah.
but I'm still looking forward to my own future.
Yeah.
And this has been like something that I've done always for some reason.
Okay.
I guess there's a part in me that always want to not make things so bad.
How has that changed your directions and perspective in how you see your career now that you are a husband and a dad?
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
I guess now to be able to be responsible for someone else's life, I guess.
Yeah.
Nori is we pride ourselves to give the best for our kids, and I guess it's a whole new experience that I don't take for granted as well. And in fact, so much so that I'm actually very prepared to put Nori as my priority, even at the cost of whatever I've built over the years. But there's no need to go there if you don't have to. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it really changes your mentality, and then you suddenly realize that all the things that we talk about today,
Yeah.
like why mommy did certain things, why you didn't talk to me, or why didn't you feel like comfortable reaching out, then you realize that, perhaps it's because of the way we were brought up.
Yeah.
And then you realize that, you don't want that for your kid. And then you realize that you want to change something and try a different approach.
Yeah.
And no doubt, Daddy and Mommy did the best based on the culture that they grew up in.
At that time.
But now that we have more information coming in, we know more, we can approach, say, parenthood very differently now as well. Being a parent now means that I suddenly realized that I have all this pressure that I gave myself over the years, suddenly just like gone in a flash. The moment I hold her in my hands like that for the first time, then I realized that these are not really important, And now I'm responsible for this cute little one instead, and realize that as a parent, you now have to be strong.
Okay.
Yeah. You gain a lot of strength, and then you start to feel like you can take on the world, because I want this
Protect this
living thing to do good.
Now, do you see yourself as a musician or a celebrity or what?
Here's the thing. Like, I feel like I am now a father first, a husband first, a video gamer second. So if one day I stop doing music, because I've established such a good relationship with my fans over the years, I think
they
I
will
have a feeling that they will
understand.
understand.
Yeah.
I have a good feeling that they will understand. Everything that we have been through will just become a nice little memory for them. That's all, And now that I have a family, I guess it's just I just don't view success the same way as I used to be. I think that this session is quite precious.
Very precious, yeah.
At least for me. I think you don't really realize it.
I didn't
But-
realize what?
You don't really realize it, but you are actually quite a role model for me growing up.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't think you realize it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's why
don't
I
think
say
I
that.
realized it.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, I see you from young to now you're a dad. I just want to say that I'm really proud of your journey lah. Oh my God.
It goes back to the time when I think we were hugging each other and then we were crying. And then because I came to you and then I was like, during Superstar, remember?
Yeah,
Then I saw the
so,
bill because you guys might not know this, but during Superstar, it was a calling thing. So every single call cost about 60 cents, if I remember correctly. We don't come from a wealthy family. We are just perfectly middle class. Yeah, and she just started working in the workforce, but she was dumping a bulk of her salary on calls just to make sure that I get an advantage. And then I didn't know about it until much later. And then remember that time when I don't know whether you guys were actually trying to hide it from me.
Not
Because-
really lah, but no point to tell you.
But you guys didn't
I mean,
tell me
there's
about
no
it.
point
Yeah, I was so busy with the
There's
competition.
no point.
So I think one fine day I just saw that bill and then I got a shock of my life.
Just something that we think that I think is worth pursuing because I can see that your love in music and stuff. So just wanted to support lah. There's nothing much. Actually, money is just you also appreciate your career. Because you went through a tough time.
Absolutely, like I really appreciate it.
So then
a lot.
you know how to appreciate it now that you look back. Yeah. So maybe I should have done more at that time, but I think myself.
But I think you did.
I also like going through something. Yeah. So
I remember you telling me that you always wanted to be a dancer, and I think you told me that now you're the only one in the family that has a real chance to pursue what you love.
yeah.
And if that amount of money can bring you there, she said exactly that. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So how do you feel interviewing me like that? It's the first time you ever been on camera for me.
I don't know. Okay, I felt okay. A bit awkward in the beginning, but I think slowly I get into the mood. It's not really more like.
Yeah, these people like don't
Yeah.
exist.
So it's more of like maybe taking back, bringing back some memories and probably understanding why some actions are taken at that point in time.
Yeah.
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 So it is a good.
Especially that
Good.
outburst, right? You never really asked me about it.
I didn't.
So-
Okay, the reason why I never asked you about it is because I put myself in your shoes. I think if I were you, who have like done that kind of thing, I wouldn't want anyone to ask me. And when I'm prepared, and to talk to you about it, you will do it lah. But I think eventually you didn't say, so I also didn't really ask.
Yeah. Because I guess deleting everything solved my problem.
Yeah.
I guess.